By the way, Ronnie's still out there. What's the son's name?
It's 5:30, so we will call the Loudon County Regional Planning Commission to order. Would you stand with me, please, and pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ron Bright.
Here.
Jim Brooks.
Here.
Todd Kennedy.
Here.
Keith Buckles.
Here.
Pam McDaniel. Here. John Napier.
Here.
Leon Shields.
Here.
Mike Waller.
Here.
Jimmy Williams.
Do I hear a movement to okay the minutes from the June 11th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Got a move and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Planned agenda items. A, commercial site plan. Applicant Loudon County Board of Education, tax map 070, parcel 178.00, located 400 Chahowie Avenue, A1 Agricultural Forestry District, District 3, approximately 15.5 acres. Jim, you want to address that?
Yeah, so what we're looking to do is at the ball fields, this property has the softball fields and the baseball fields on it. All we're doing is looking to do 2 open pavilions so they can put their batting cages in that and do batting practice out of these facilities.
We have to okay the site plan.
It's technically a non-residential site plan, so we're
I
gonna okay
make
the
a
site
motion
plan.
to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It is approved. B, subdivision plat for 4 lots, applicant property owner Cook Brothers Construction, tax map 016E, Group A, parcel 032.00, 065.00, 066.00, and 067.00. Located 377 Cedar Branch Trail, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 6. Any representative from the Cook Brothers here?
Yes.
Come up and tell us what you got in mind.
So this one, nothing's actually changing with the home sites themselves, but we're asking to relocate the sidewalk from where it was originally planned, which was on the left side of Cedar Branch Trail, to the right side. We'll still have an ADA ramp and still have the same coverage on the lots for accessibility for all the home sites, but the grade is such on the left that it doesn't allow for us to install a sidewalk there.
We've already approved this once before.
Yeah, we discussed it earlier, yes, sir.
Approved it, yeah.
Do we need to take action on this?
If you will, yeah, they're gonna amend the plat so it can be recorded, everything be taken care of with their documents and all that stuff.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. There you are.
Next one's me too.
Okay. Subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant property owner Cook Brothers Construction, tax map 016E, Group A, parcel 064.00, located 139 Dogwood Place, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 6.
So.
What's the difference?
The difference on this one is the lot line between, at the back side of that highlighted property has actually moved towards the property by 10 feet, or away from the property by 10 feet, I'm sorry. We had to increase the side setback for our community, pavilion and swimming pool and clubhouse, so we actually borrowed 10 feet from the neighbor to the left, which actually, the property owners happen to be my parents. And then we still currently own the other lot.
Some changing of lot lines.
Okay. All right.
You got any problems?
There was no issues with it, no, sir.
Is there a move to approve?
Approved. Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Thank you.
I think you can be seated now. D, subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant property owner Zane Madtays, tax map 049, parcel 031.02, located Von Orr Road, A2 Rural Residential District, District 1, approximately 5 acres. Mr. Madtays. And I hope I didn't butcher that name too bad.
Just a little bit, everybody does.
So, my wife and I
Own 2 lots there, and basically what we are doing is subdividing those 2 into 3. So we happen to have 2 grown sons that we wanna co-locate there. But, yeah, so essentially, yeah, just subdivide, taking 2, making 3 out of it, redoing the plot plan, lot lines.
Jim, any?
Mr. Bunch did the review,
Observation.
said everything was in order with it.
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, thank you. E, subdivision plat for 5 lots, applicant property owner Deborah Rossi, tax map 0051, parcel 008.00, located at 70 Summit Hill Drive, A2 Rural Residential District, District 3, approximately 13.26 acres. Ms. Rossi,
I'm here. Yes,
okay?
so it was a large parcel and we are you've already approved my preliminary road, which is shown here. And we're finishing that road once we get this approved. And we have 4 lots that all exceed 2.5 acres.
Okay, we're dividing one into 4.
piece into 4.
Okay,
That's fine.
Yeah, we ended up combining 5 with 4,
okay,
so we met all the requirements.
okay. Jim?
Mr. Bunch did the review, and at this point, I believe they have everything in order after some corrections.
Motion approved.
I've got a motion to approve, do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. You're good to go.
Thank
F, subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant property owner Daniel Anderson, tax map 011, parcel 224.00, located at 14436 Virtue Road, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 5, approximately 14 and 5/10 acres. Mr. Anderson, or a representative for Mr. Anderson. Jim, what do you recommend?
This is another one, Phil's been doing these reviews. We've been busy in the office. He's reviewed it. Everything's in order with the plat, so it's a pleasure of the board. Like I said, I believe it's just a large tract going into 3 lots.
So he really does not have to be here.
There's no new infrastructure being provided. He's coming. Yeah, it affected 3 lots.
It says 3 lots, but there's only 2 shown, and they're
He
both.
said it affected 3 lots. I'm
3
sorry.
lots was the original property.
Yeah.
And
So they're just subdividing off 2 1-acre lots.
Yes. Yes, sir. If y'all are satisfied.
What is the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
I got a move and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It is approved then. G, subdivision plat for 6 lots to 1 lot. Applicant property owner Gerald Cole, tax map 033K, Group B, parcel 001.01, located Lee Highway, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 1. Is Mr. Cole here?
This is actually on top of the hill.
Seems like we've had this one for 3 straight months.
Yeah, there's been different things going on. We done rezoning on it to C2, but these are these old subdivision lots that were narrow, and because he's going from 6 into 1, it's the reason it's coming before the board. So
Move to approve. How much acreage?
it's,
I can't see
a
it.
little over, what is that, 1.11?
1.11?
Yeah.
Okay. Second.
Just want to make it 1 lot.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, H, rezone request from A2 to A3 zoning, applicant property owner Michael Waller, tax map 011, parcel 283.01, located Martell Road, A2 Rural Residential, District 6, rezone approximately 5.25 acres. Mr. Waller,
I guess I will recruit myself from voting and stuff. But what I do, I own 37.5 acres, plus or minus, and 5 acres is located on the north side of Markel Road between the road and the railroad. And I'm wanting to rezone that 5 acres to A3, so that I've got a friend that wants to build 5 houses there. He wants to subdivide it into 5 1-acre lots.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I, rezone request from C2 to A3 zoning. Applicant Travis Reno, property owner Jay Lindsay, tax map 084, parcel 038.00, located at 7588 Highway 11 South. C2 General Commercial District, District 3, approximately 1 2/10 acres.
There. I'm Shannon with Knoxville Title Agency. I'm here representing Travis Reno. He put a contract on this property for the sole purpose of making it a residential property. And then we realized that it was commercial, so
Okay.
it'll just be for a one-home dwelling in the future.
You got anything to do?
I think it's,
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. J, rezone request from A1 to A3 zoning. Applicant Shiloh Lunsford, property owner Paul Lunsford Jr., tax map 082, parcel 007.00, located at 826 Oakland Road, A1 Agriculture Forestry District, District 4, approximately 2.02 acres. Ms. Lunsford and Mr. Lunsford?
Yeah.
Okay. What you got?
I don't know how to feel about it.
Well, actually, it's like a 2-acre plot. It said 02, but it's actually 2 acres, 2.14, something like that. But, there's 2 mobile homes on it right now. And, actually, we're gonna split the property down the middle and sign half of it over to her, one of the mobile homes.
And when I came, I showed up one day because I wanted to get the history on it. I don't know how to do this, y'all. And so I wanted to see if it was ever split. When I came, they said that there was all new zoning stuff. The way that the land sits at this moment in time, she said it's wrong. It's wrong. There's 2 trailers on it right now. She said that it was never notified to you guys that there's 2 trailers, but they've been on there for
30 years.
long time. And so I wanted to split it with my brother, and she's like, well, it's rezoned for this and it can't be less than 5 acres. But in order to get it split, you would have to get it rezoned. So she told me to come here and talk to you guys about that. Does that
So
make
how
sense?
big is the lot gonna be?
It's 2 acres right now. It's gonna be acres.
Acre apiece?
Yeah, and it's still gonna be in like the same family,
It's the
same last
same thing it
name,
is now.
just-
It's just, it's a weird property. For years, it was considered Monroe County because we had 2 different area codes with them sitting from me to you away from each other. And I did different cable packages as my mother. I mean, it's just, well, now they got it figured up to where there's 3/4 of an acre in Monroe County. And the rest of it's just
in
an
Loudon.
island in Loudon County, correct?
Is anybody living in those trailers?
Excuse me?
Or anybody living in those trailers?
Oh, yeah, one of them is, and the other one is just storage right now.
But the property we're reviewing here is Loudoun County property. It's not-
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
Loudon County, yeah.
And there's 2 dwellings on
Yeah,
it.
if you
She
call
said that they
911,
couldn't be that
It,
way.
it's hard telling where you're getting it from, honestly.
Will it meet all the
It's right there on
requirements?
Oakland Road.
Jim,
I've not seen a plat of it. They'd come in again, talk to Kaylee and them.
Yeah.
And, so right now they're trying to, I believe, get rezoned to the A3 so they can create 2 1-acre parcels.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we rezone it to A3.
Second.
Got a move and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Now, they're gonna do road construction. Have y'all any idea on where that's gonna take place? I've got a sign right there at the creek. It says, next 11 miles. And I want to try to get the driveway fixed a little bit. I don't wanna spend the money if they're gonna tear it up, so that's just kinda.
Would be the highway department.
Highway
That's
department.
right. Yes, sir.
So from here, because I've never talked to a bunch of people like this, what happens next? So,
You have to have it surveyed and replatted.
okay, so I get a surveyor and then they talk to you.
Just get with the planning office,
Yeah,
Jim
if
and
you call us
staff.
tomorrow, I'll explain the remainder of the steps.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Y'all have a night.
All right.
Okay, rezone request from A2 to A3 zoning. Applicant property owner Debbie Cordell Cable. Tax map 042, parcel 038.00, located 7600 Little Valley Road, A2 Rural Residential District, District 1, rezone approximately 1 acre only. Mr. Cable?
Chad Bell, that's my father, he recently passed away,
Okay.
mother's here actually.
Is this that road that leads to the lake?
Yes.
Is that Little Valley? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I know where you are then.
We basically just wanna have a home put on it to help my mom take care of it.
And you're wanting to go to A2 to A3?
Yes, sir, cause it's.
Just for the 1 acre.
Yes, sir.
How do we identify where that 1 acre is? Do you know?
He surveyed it today, I don't think it's had time to be.
Yeah.
Anything done with that, but
Is
it's
it-
staked out as of right now.
Is it where the house is already
It
existing
will
house?
be, see, it'll be about where the number is on the left side. Yes, right in there.
It's a little unique right now when you're asking, you don't wanna spend a bunch of money on a survey.
Sure.
So we got that approximate, one lot approximately 1 acre. He'll submit a plat showing that 1 acre being A3 and the remainder being A2.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Got a move and a second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. L, rezone request from A1 to A3 zoning. Applicant Lon Shockley, property owner Melissa Fee, tax map 060, parcel 120.00, located at 5710 Brook Road, A1 Agriculture Forestry District. District 3, rezone approximately 1 acre only. Mr. Shockley, I presume?
Yes, sir. Right there's a lot that I'd like to have. You see the pond up there? It'll be right there. Everybody needs to see that.
Everybody needs to see that?
You got no problem there. I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. M, rezone request from A2/R3 to A3/R3. Applicant property owner Dale Costner, tax map 056, parcel 052.00 and 054.00, located at 4790 Sticky Road, 5042 Corinth Church Road, and A2 Rural Residential District, R3 Single Family Exclusive Overlay District, District 4.
R.E.
RE,
What is that?
single
It's
family.
an overlay, doesn't allow home occupations or single wides.
Okay.
Would you explain to the board the A2/RE?
Yeah, so A2 is its current zoning district, the RE is an overlay that you can put on any zoning district that puts more restrictions on those districts. It doesn't allow single wides, home occupations, it's single family exclusive. It wouldn't allow duplexes during, when we had that allowable use. And Mr. Costner owns the lot that is highlighted and also the lot where the cursor is. I think it's 52 and 54, and he's bought both of these properties, and he's merely looking to adjust lot lines, but in order to do that, he needs to change the zoning so he can have the 1 acre and fix his lot lines.
How much is it now? How much is the 2 parcels? Plus or minus?
It's 1 and 1.68 acres.
Both of them combined.
The one tract is 1 and 1 is 1.68. So
Yeah,
you've got 2.6 acres total.
So
But he
you got-
just needs to do a lot line adjustment, he's not creating additional lots.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve and a second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. You're good to go, Mr. Costner. 4, county commission action on planning commission recommendations. Jim,
The actions we took for the rezonings all were approved.
what about the codes department building?
We don't have anything additional to add.
Additional comments from the public? We will welcome them now. Update from the planning department.
Our grace period for submitting the plats, I'll tell you that, ended July the 28th. So, from here on out, all our new plats will come in from
Be June
new
28th.
regs.
June
June
28th.
28th. One of this, yeah.
One of them.
Do I have a movement from the board to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Till early to sign plans.
That's what
Done
we're
my extra duty. Just come down, you should have to prove that. Not for driver's license. Not for driver's license, but Abby, if your car tags are not accounted, she'll have to
Hey,
have
Jim,
some
do we
proof.
have to hear all these A3s?
I don't think she's.
Those rezonings, unfortunately.
I think she
Why can't
just
you
now
just-
got her electric bill switched
Well, because it's a zoning law change, it's
You know,
gotta
and
come
to see
get
if she
a
gets her driver's
recommendation.
license changed, she could use it in her utility bill, yeah.
Maybe we can just stack them and read the general statement, then just identify the properties.
Well, I mean, if they're going to 1 acre, it ain't no big deal.
It isn't.
That's why you're approved. Surely between the three of you, just gonna approve. Have a meeting.
Take a vote.
We ready? Need to call the Loudon County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. Roll call.
Ron Bright.
Here.
Jim Brooks.
Here.
John Napier. Leon Shields.
Here.
Mike Waller.
Here.
If you're gonna say anything during this meeting, you need to stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. You solemnly swear or affirm that this testimony you may now give in the causes now pending before the commission will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody read the minute?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Planned agenda items, variance request to build accessory structure in the front yard, applicant's property owner Grayson Hicks. Tax map 072, parcel 067.00, located 12817 Blue Springs Road, C1 Rural Center District, District 4, approximately 0.71 acres. Mr. Hicks?
I was wanting to build a garage or carport right beside the house to park under. And they told me I had to come file for variance because the bank right there is my front yard. But I was wanting to put it exactly right beside the house. I don't know how none of that works or anything. It's my
On the
first
right
time
side of the
doing
house or the left side?
it. Right where you see the cars in the driveway,
Uh-huh.
right there.
Be attached to your house or just? it's
They
freestanding?
said that it can't be attached to the house because it's a mobile home, so it would just be sitting beside it, on concrete, and I'd have to get a permit to do all that, but,
To the garage or carport?
I was originally wanting to do a garage and enclose it, but after looking into it and stuff, I was probably just gonna do a carport, with just a roof and maybe sides. And maybe later on try to enclose it fully or something, but it's probably just gonna, if it was approved, just be a metal, carport.
Violation of any setbacks that you know of?
Are you gonna meet your, front yard setback 30 feet? Are you gonna be able to be 30 feet off the right of way to this building when it's said and done?
I believe so.
But it's not gonna be in the front yard, it's gonna be in the side.
It's technically in the front yard. That's why he's here.
Where's your drain field and your septic? Around
Yeah,
about
that's
the
the
house?
question I had.
I guess behind the house.
It's right beside my front porch, which is the little thing coming out in the front yard there. It's right beside it, and it goes under the house and.
The long part of the house, what you're calling the front, right, Jim? But it actually, you're calling the side the front.
Correct.
Yeah, yes. That being the front yard where the cursor is, where the vehicles are.
But that's actually the side.
That's the side for him, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where the dot is there is where he wants to put the carport.
Yeah, where them cars
Yeah,
is at.
2 vehicles and then the dot right there, yeah, right beside the house.
I'll make a motion to approve, just pending, the hardship of the lot. The house doesn't face the roadway. It's one of those unique situations that we see routinely. And make a motion to approve on those bases.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Anybody else got anything? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.
I appreciate it.
Item B, variance request to build accessory structure without primary dwelling, applicant property owner Jeff Klein, tax map 047, parcel 058.04, located 6555 Dry Valley Road, A2, F1 Rural Residential District, floodway, District 4, approximately 8.15 acres.
So, good evening. I've got a 30 by 30 accessory building currently built, and I need this variance I'll pull permit by the end of this year to build a primary dwelling, and hope to start construction on that early next year.
You're not living in it.
No, sir.
And you've
I'm
already built the
confused.
building?
I'm
or you-
confused.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I have.
A little unique. This property is family property. And it originally was a 30-acre tract, and then it's been divided up over time between family. And the only reason this building was even saw is because a family member had a permit to build a house, but has pulled off of that. And of course, we're out looking for it and saw the building. I believe there's a family member building right adjacent to you at
Yes,
this
sir.
time.
My father-in-law, we just got him in the dry last week. He's got his permits, and my sister-in-law, she lives down the road. She's got her permits, and that's what he was there for. And I just had that building to store tools in while I was helping them build theirs. And we've done all the construction work ourselves on all of these structures. And so I was just ignorant to the fact that I needed to have a permit for this without a primary. I didn't know that I didn't have a primary dwelling or needed to have a primary dwelling in order to have this accessory.
But you have all intentions of starting your own primary dwelling on this property this year?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I live in Sweetwater Creek currently, and it's just with the finances the way they are, I've got to be able to plan for this, and I wasn't planning for it. So by the end of the year, we'll pull the permit to build out there for a primary dwelling.
If you have one accessory structure, you want to build another one, then the house, is that?
No, sir.
No, he wants a permit for the existing structure. That's been there how long?
Just a couple of months.
Couple of months, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've typically given everybody a year to build and at least get some progress toward a new house if you're gonna live in it.
A year would be very easy for me to do that.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant him the year as we have in the past.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? So you're saying through the end of July next year?
Right.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Is that B? Item C, variance request to build accessory structure in the front yard setback. Applicant property owner Terry Patton, tax map 017, parcel 088.00, located 2036 Wilkerson Road, A2, F1 Rural Residential District, floodway district, District 6, approximately 1.51 acres. What we got?
Terry Patton, my residence 2030. Early on, Ms. Burfield sent you all a packet, pages 1 through 18, and enclosed in this is all my neighbors, except for 3, that had signed off and said they do not have a problem with me building this structure where it is proposed. As of today, the remaining 3 neighbors that are contiguous to the property has signed off as well. So I went around and talked to all my neighbors and shared with them what my plan is, and it is accessory structure. I have a skid steer, I have a couple of golf carts, I have some items, equipment I'd like to keep in the drive.
Is it actually in the front yard?
So this is, you're
Is
about
this
to hear
that what
two
we
cases
split?
tonight. I apologize.
We split it here a year or so ago.
We have, yes, sir. And so we're gonna air two different cases tonight to where this has become an issue. This plan here shows where the building highlighted in yellow was proposed to be going. When of course the site plan is shown, I said we needed to be 50 feet off of the line between that hatch building and what is now lot 4 of the other subdivision. We're very close to that front property line, so this would actually be administrative review or appeal to me saying we need to be 50 feet off that front property line. And of course, the disagreement is that's not a front property line. So,
Well, the way my engineer has talked to me about, this is the front road frontage there, but also I have access here, there's road frontage here, and also have road frontage here that access this home. And this is actually parking, and this is my garage, and that's a carport. But yet the access, as you all have gave me granted, is to come out this way, so I'm 50 feet right of way to the Wilkerson Road. And it's clearly several hundred feet from the front road to the building that we're proposing.
I think I may have asked this question in previous years, but remind me, is this a commercial parcel that's true to life?
No.
So no commercial activities would be out of the garage?
It's a residential home. It's a residential home.
This is a big building. What are you gonna store in it? And just
I've
looking
got-
at the picture.
I've got 2 golf carts.
How big a building is
Razor
it?
4-wheeler. I have a 259 skid steer. I've got 2 buckets, a bush hog, and a dump truck. And I'd like to get in out of the way.
Says the building's 40 by 35. If you look at the picture, it's got a big high bay in the center of it. I mean, it's a monster of a building.
And your existing garages and carports are just not big enough to accommodate that?
That's correct.
Yeah.
as well, I think the key is when we hear this, it's whether it's in the front yard or not. I think the main issue I have is the setback location from, you see the building and the lot line in front of it, that's a
Right.
lot 4. I consider that a front yard.
Right.
And of course, this detail here doesn't have that setback. How far off are you off of that, between your building and the lot line at lot 4?
Yeah, Richard Lemay, the engineer, has stated this is approximately 10 to 15 feet from that rear property line of lot 4. So it meets the setback, according to him. I'm not an engineer, but according to him, it does meet the setback.
Not if it's the front yard.
That's where that's where today is administrative review, as I've got the rear of lot 4 and the front of his lot. And I'm calling that a front yard setback. Even though he may be 300 feet from the road, you still have to establish some front side rear yards for these, especially unique
Based off of
lots.
property lines, not based
Yes.
off of distances to
Right.
roads.
Yeah, so that was where I was saying that the issue lies, that it's only 15 feet off of that property line.
And it is the rear line to lot 4.
And it's A2, so he's required 40 feet.
40 feet?
Off the rear line.
Yeah.
Again, my engineer has went through this and he sees it as being in compliance, and that would come down, if you can give me the variance, then we'll meet all the guidelines and setbacks when we go get the building permit. It's gonna increase the value $80,000 if I get to build this garage. It's not hurting anybody, all my neighbors, these are the other 3.
We've got all
Yeah.
that stuff.
No, these are extra.
Well, we-
Extra 3. All unanimous.
It's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. I went by there today. It's clearly visible from, it's gonna be clearly visible from Wilkerson Road and a lot of the properties around it.
And everybody on Wilkerson Road has seen the
Everybody,
layout.
I understand, so you have no opposition, that's a
That's
fact.
good, isn't it?
But
That's a
he's
fact.
15 foot, he's wanting to be
Instead of 40.
15 foot instead of 40.
Instead of 40, that's why we're here, in my opinion. It's not that it's in the front yard, you know, it's a unique lot in the way it lays. It's the fact that we're not 40 feet off that property line, and then when it's slid back, I don't know if he'll be 5 or not, but he didn't show anything that he was 40 feet from that, L13 line shown on that screen, which is lot 4 of adjoining property. That's what I was looking for, is 40 feet off of that line.
And again, my engineer assures me that you can meet setbacks.
Jim is the authority, not your engineer, cause your engineer.
Mr. Chairman, I think that, you know, we went above and beyond for Mr. Patton here for approvals in the past. I feel like with the unique track, probably 3 or 4 approvals I know in just my tenure on the board, I kind of worry about putting that size building within the violations of setbacks. So my motion would be to deny the set
Would you
question.
consider if I reduce the size of the building?
My motion stands as stated.
If I reduce the size of the building, it meets the setback.
To meet the setback, you would have to get more property, you'd have to either move your building away from that property line or obtain more property from lot 4.
I feel like at this point, Mr. Patton, if it was in the compliance of, to meet the variance of the request, we wouldn't be on the agenda tonight. You would have already got a building permit for the building. Your purpose here is to violate that setback requirement, so therefore that's my motions to deny.
And I'll second that.
Got a motion, you second it? You second?
Yes, I second.
Got a motion and a second, any more discussion?
Do I have a right of an appeal?
Through the courts, yes.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Let's see.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Item D, administrative review for determination of the front lot line location and allowable building area of the lot. Applicant Jeffrey Burton, tax map 020, parcel 081.00, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 2, approximately 0.68 acres. What got it?
This is me. It's administrative review. This gentleman has an accessory building, permit, no permits required, no permanent foundation, less than 500 square feet. Correct, sir. The issue again becomes front yard. When we scroll down here, you'll see this is a unique lot. We've got this big long tail that comes off the back of the lot. This building's sitting right here. You know, this to me, the building should not be 5 feet off of this lot line because it's in the rear yard. I would consider this a front lot line. The building should have been placed in this area, and I believe would be.
Was that the house there?
This is the house.
But you don't access
It
it.
doesn't face the road?
You don't access
Does the
it
house
off of
face the
Broader
road?
College?
Yes, sir. So this
How
is,
you get
this
that
is
to
definitely
front?
the rear of a lot.
Okay.
I'll agree 100% that is the rear of the lot. The issue becomes, is the building's placed in this segment of property here.
And you're saying because it's that long strip, you're saying that's why it's the front, that's running to a
I would
road?
consider this line to be a front yard all the way down.
Yeah,
These to
I
be
see where
rear
you're at.
yards,
It's
these to be
facing the
front
road.
yards.
It's on the
Yes,
roadside
running
property.
parallel with the right.
So is it a violation to the neighbor's property other than the setbacks, just that unique situation, the way that property's laid?
The way that property lays, if,
How big is the building?
so the accessory
I'm
building.
sorry,
12 by 40.
so it's
12
fairly
by
large.
40?
20.
Oh, 20, okay.
Yeah, so it's less than 500, you don't need a permit.
We
But
also,
again-
I'm sorry,
But they are required, even though they don't have permits in our regs now, they're required to meet our zoning. So the issue has come up from a neighboring property that is sitting right there, obviously in his backyard. So it's a matter, we don't have these square 90-degree angle properties, right? So you're trying to establish front, side, rear, even though this is behind his house. The way this property lays, he's right up against this.
How wide's
rear
that
property.
strip?
it goes,
If you use a measuring tool, which is all I have, I don't have a survey, it looks like it's about 20 some odd.
So it's
feet wide.
taking the whole thing, basically.
It's a very narrow strip.
How long has the structure been?
We just put it in a few weeks ago.
So
And we
recent.
called, to see if we needed a permit, and we called to see how far the setback is. We were told by them, 5 feet.
5 feet from the property lines.
We did it 15 feet away, thinking we were fine. Our neighbor complained, the one right next to us.
How did you do it 15 feet away? If
We
it ain't,
have that space.
Because it's more like 40 feet. We have 15 feet, and we have the 12 feet width of the building, and then we have another 16 feet to approximately where the property line is.
how wide's that strip?
It's a front line that's getting
Yes.
Yes.
front yard setback.
Yes.
But our neighbor that complained was complaining on behalf of the people behind us, where it's all just kudzu, that we might get close to their line. He knows we're
I'm
off
getting
of the guideline.
conflicting reports. How wide's the strip, Jim?
I don't have a survey measurement.
Well, I understand that, but
You know, if you use what GIS maps out, it's about 20 some odd feet wide.
And we
Based on this screen, but that's not official. Again, we got a narrow strip. And again, when in our office, we're trying to establish front, side, rear property lines. The only way I know how to look at this lot is if somebody was gonna build something, is that really, first of all, is that a buildable section of property? Secondly, if we were to dash lines on a survey plat, if we had a surveyor dash us lines, they wouldn't even include that in a buildable area.
We did
property,
contact GIS,
you know.
and they included.
So if that strip's 20 feet wide,
No.
how wide?
They say it's wider than
They
that.
say it's 40.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, whether it's 25 or 40,
It's-
are we gonna call that line there a front, or is it just gonna be a side rear property line?
I mean, that's a stretch to call that a front.
I wouldn't call it a front.
I see your point. I mean, it's facing the roadway, so I see that. Legally, it would probably be considered front.
I don't,
That's what we're trying to establish here.
But I do think that's a pretty large structure on that narrow of a band up through there.
But why did you choose to put it there instead of like, in the corner away from that?
That's close to our house and accessible for us.
why is that
It's a
strip
shed.
like that? Is that a right of way?
I don't know how that thing got created. It's very unique.
It looks like a right of way, but it don't make no sense. from
But
facing
yeah,
the
it
road.
doesn't go out to a road or anything, it just goes.
Is there not a road up where it goes
No, it
to?
just dead ends into adjacent parcel.
It's approximately 350 feet long.
What?
About 350 feet long and about 40 feet wide.
That's funny.
Just a strip band. Otherwise, it's a very.
I don't understand that. Did you do that? Did you approve that?
No, I didn't, no. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Are there trees on that or anything?
No, only at the very end.
There may be a picture in your all's packet, it's probably black and white, that shows the building and the fence.
Currently set 15 feet back from the rear of the neighbor to us.
So this is the dividing fence between them and the neighbor, and then it's sitting on the straightaway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the building looks like it is 40 feet in length.
Long, not
40
wide.
feet long,
Yeah.
12 feet wide, 15 feet back.
And like we said, when we thought it was the side yard rather, I mean, we have an obvious front yard that faces the road. So that to us is a side yard.
And that building is 40 by 20,
12 by 40.
12 by 40.
Yeah.
And you say that that
12 by
strip
20.
is 20 feet wide.
No, it's 40. I think I misheard the 20. I think she said it's 40.
Yeah, it's 12 wide, 40 long.
So that makes it 480 square feet, which is less than the 500.
Yeah.
So if you're 40 feet, I mean, you're still in violation of even on a side yard setback, you're still in violation of that.
The front and rear setback requirements are 5 feet.
5 feet?
We're
5 feet, but if we're gonna call, so that means any structure I have, if we don't determine that as a front yard line, then we can build, when we take, if you look at a flag lot, I can take a flag lot, run it up, and then turn 90 and build my house. This guy's got a rear yard, but I'm gonna build my house, within that setback. Somehow you gotta establish front, side, rear yard property lines. That's the only thing.
I think legally, there's no way to contest, that's a front yard. Cause if you used to build, if that track is wider, you build a house there, it's facing the road, we're gonna consider that front yard.
You
That's
obviously
what
There's no
I'm
can't-
saying.
contestant.
You can't build a house on that.
It doesn't matter, I'm just saying, if that track was wider, more in depth, and you build a house there, your front yard would be the roadside facing.
Well, that's like saying if I owned the next 3 properties, I could build things. It's not that wide. It can't hold a house.
So where
Did you
did,
have any conversation with any of my staff about the location of this building?
Yes.
Yes,
And then
In person?
email.
you know.
That's not what I understand. For my staff, I understand someone come in person and ask where they could place that structure, and they told them at that corner, not in the strip, at the corner of that lot.
No, we have the emails
That-
from the
that-
person.
I mean, I'll let y'all make that determination. I'm just trying to, if y'all say it's a front yard, that's great. If you wanna allow them to leave the building there, I'm good with it too. I just want an administrative review of it.
We honestly do
To
not.
I ain't
address the
gonna argue, I
complaints.
mean, I understand what Leon's saying about the front yard, but I don't think that
honestly-
strip's wide enough to handle a building.
We would not have the money to move this after we thought we got all the permits and everything we needed. We have the concrete runners, whatever they're called, done, and then moving the building, it's gonna be thousands of dollars.
But even including that issue, the land in and of itself is otherwise completely useless to us.
I'd about agree with
It's
you
a-
on
yeah.
that. I'd about agree with
It's
you
a
on
hardship
that.
to us to have that land be considered anything that would require
I
a
just don't
setback.
understand, this blows my mind.
But it's not just me.
you know, here's my opinion, Mr. Chairman, and, you know, I'll go with what the board's decision is. I feel like that this is a very important question asked by these homeowners and taxpayers that's paid that. It's a very serious legal recourse that could come from complaining neighbors. If we look by the letter of the codes and the regs that's enforced by the planning office, I worry about, do we really truly need to know what the survey says, what the emails read, and all the facts of the matter and make a ruling on that? So do we table it for 30 days and pull our,
This is just an
It's
administrative
just
review,
an
it's not a
administrative review, we
submittal.
ain't gotta take no action there, you're just wanting guidance.
Well, right now I have a complaint in my office, and we have a building out there that there's some disagreement as to whether that's a front or a side yard, whether it's in violation or not. So they're here basically, you know, I've told them that I feel like it's in violation. So they're here more or less to administratively appeal to you all that I'm not interpreting the regulations correctly.
I think it is a front, I agree with Leon, I think
I think it's a front, I mean, the way it lays.
it's a weird front.
so what do you ask, are you wanting the board to give you a ruling or a search of facts or
I
what?
think at this point, the board can agree, you know, at this point, what they requested is that that's not a front yard, and I'm stating it is, and you can uphold that. I believe is the answer to this request. They haven't requested to leave it in that location. I don't know if the board wants to address that at this time.
We understood that we had to do this first and then go through the variance.
They have a right to appeal our statement that this is a
Through the
front yard and it needs to
BZA,
meet
come
the
back
setbacks.
next month through the BZA and appeal it.
They could appeal and leave it in that location, I guess.
Or just ask for a variance.
With a front yard variance, but right now, we're just administratively either gonna agree with me or not that that's a front yard and it should be 30 feet, whatever that zoning is, R1, it should be 30 feet.
And I apologize for holding us up, I thought we was gonna have to give a ruling here, so that's why I was just trying to make sure we had the facts.
I would agree with Leon that it's a front yard.
I feel it's a front yard, and I feel like that if you're gonna ask for a variance request, I'd like to see a legal stamp survey.
That was gonna be my next thing.
That shows the true measurements. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll get the approval, but I'd like to see what the true measurements are. But you have to take in consideration, the neighbors have a valid point, it's in violation of setbacks. So the numbers of what your parcel size is would give the legal definition of how much are you in violation if you're in violation. I think that survey is golden on that determination.
I think one of the questions we had though too is whether it being a side yard or in fact the rear yard, because it's significantly to the rear of the main building. What the line you can see there is a fence line. And so whether or not it's part of our rear lot, in fact, our rear yard, excuse me. And so that's why, is because if there is no road access, it's a narrow strip of land which is.
My opinion is, when I look at your survey, I'm gonna look, this is your front yard. So the side of that building is facing the front yard like Mr. Jenkins says. So our determination, or my determination would be, what does the survey show that that wall is from your front yard?
It's a very unique situation, and I think this will help us.
It's gonna be 15 feet.
Well, no, in that photograph where you show the wall, that's probably about 50 feet down that road, from the road.
I'm calling from the property line of the rear of that neighbor's house. That's your front yard.
Okay, understood.
Am I interpreting that right, Jim?
Yes.
Basically, that whole length, that whole strip up through their front yard.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unique. I mean, I understand what they're saying, what's behind our house, it's our rear yard, but then again, once I exceed a certain area, things, I don't know, you see the situation.
Do you mow that strip or just let it grow?
Our neighbor used to grow it, used to mow it. Currently, we do not have a mower. My father-in-law, my wife's mother and father-in-law moved in with us. We're having a basement looked at, to be remodeled perhaps, and he has a riding lawnmower, but it's currently back in Kansas. So no, currently it's not being mowed. We haven't put anything into the utility shed, and when we do, we'll have easier access to then mow that land because we like to put vegetables in it. But I'm not sure if that then requires approval or if it's gonna be a setback issue or those sorts of things. And so the use of that land or our inability to use that land is a big hardship for us.
Where is it located?
Ryder Hollow.
Whereabouts off Ryder Hollow?
Um,
What's your own numerical address?
4,300.
What else you need?
That's all I need right now, thank you.
Thank you. Item E, variance request to build attached garage in front side yard, applicant property owner Brian Johnson, tax map 0701, parcel 013.00, located 731 Calhoun Drive, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 3, approximately 0.69 acres. What you got?
Again, I was asking for a variance to be able to, it's not depicted up there, to be able to build a detached building in that, I guess, lower corner, actually where she's indexed out there, so.
Is
In
it
the
in
beginning,
front?
that tract was a double tract and long before I owned the property, sometime in the 70s, I think it was sold. So it's, as far as the other tracts in the neighborhood, they're all that acre, maybe acre and a half, whereas my tract is obviously cut in half.
Now, the parcel I noticed behind you, is that part of you or
No,
is that?
sir, it does not, it belongs to my neighbor.
Where's the access to that parcel?
They actually come up my driveway there, it's in front of the X.
So there's an easement on the deed for that?
No, not really. That or they come up their driveway and make a hard left and a hard right, but no, there is no legal easement.
And your variance request is just because the size of the building that you want to build?
Well, there's a city order or a city restriction, I think, that the front of your detached building can't come past the rear of your house. So I was asking for a variance for that.
Have we not considered this before?
It come about 7 months ago, and it was tabled twice before it was denied.
Yeah, it's the first time I've been here. I did come down, fill out the paperwork, and ended up being stuck out of town and missed the meeting.
How big a building you building?
Well, again, it would depend on, our setbacks are 5 and 5.
I guess the variance would depend on that, right? In other words, how far past the rear of my house would you guys allow me to build?
Of course, ours is just that it has to be past the front, it doesn't have to be back past the.
Yeah, Greenback's eccentric, you know, it basically says that no accessory building shall be erected in any required front or side yard. Accessory building shall not cover more than 30% of any required rear yard and shall be at least 5 feet from all lot lines and from any other buildings on the same lot. So by the time you take out 30%, it's required in the rear, then you only allow 30%, and then you gotta be 5 feet from any other buildings. That kinda dictates it, because it is in a city. A lot of accessory buildings in the city are a lot smaller than you see.
So it's not really a setback, violation, it's really a violation of 2 or 3 more of the Greenback codes.
It is.
Then why would we consider it if it's their code? Why does their building-
Well, we
hear
hear
their cases.
We have to handle theirs.
We have to handle
Through BZA, yes, sir.
I'd be happy to entertain a setback variance, but if it's multiple code violations, Greenback, regulations, as far as the 30%, the setbacks, and then where it sits on the property, I'd have to make a motion to deny. Pending, it's all the violations.
Right. How many is the total, Mr. Jenkins? I knew that I was asking to be able to come further towards the Calhoun Drive, but how many violations am I asking for? You said there were multiple, so I was just trying to understand.
So per the regs, and I guess what Mr. Shields is saying is the violation would be in the side yard, and then you'd have to be at 30% maximum building. So you'd have to be in the rear yard, 5 feet off property line, 5 feet off the house, and a maximum building size of 30% of the rear yard. So they don't know how big a building you're requesting. And secondly, it's in the side yard.
Which, this may be irrelevant, if you look at all the neighbors, almost all those garages their properties have garages in the side yard. I thought I was just, because I was needing to come past the front of the rear of the house, excuse me, of the building.
Yeah, you're coming into the side yard.
Yes.
So that's the variance request. And of course, like I said, when I read this, it also has that requirement. So they dictate the size of the building based off size of rear yards of 30%.
Mr. Chairman, I think that maybe someone else wanting to speak.
Yeah, you got something?
Yeah. The people on Calhoun Drive are very much opposed to this. We were in here 7 months ago roughly. There's the signatures of people that live in that area. And I know he needs a garage, he wants a garage, but he's not in compliance within the city anyway. If you folks will scroll to the left, you can see why. You can scroll it back and forth. There's more pictures.
I put it back on the first one.
Mr. Chairman, I'd still stand with my motion regardless of the opposing parties and regardless of what any other kind of opposition or regulations they may have. Mine stands purely on the violations read by Mr. Jenkins tonight and the request.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Item F, variance request for 7-foot front yard setback to build 8 by 14-foot deck. Applicant property owner David Dudley, tax map 016, parcel 232.00, located 13716 Martell Road, R1 Suburban Residential District, RE Single Family Exclusive Overlay District, District 6, approximately 0.53 acres. What do you got?
hope I'll ever take a look at my letter that I wrote, but, I'll just be brief. My wife and I, after 23 years, lived in Maryville, had a chance to move to Loudon County. And after being in our home for a month and a half, we bought a double wide, 2,001 square foot double wide from Oakwood Homes in Powell. And they placed the home, did the septic work, placed the home, and now I am finding out that it is 30 feet 4 inches on one side from within regulations of the property line, and 30 feet and 1 inch, which would allow me to make a 1 inch wide porch, which is obviously absurd. I did not place the home. I assumed they were professionals. They do this every day. I've never done this in my life. And now I'm being told that I am at least 3 feet out of regulation from that, the dashed line there. And I'm just asking for forgiveness for Oakwood's part, since they're the ones that placed the home. And I'm in the process of building an 8 by 14 porch on the back, and would like to do the same on the front. Not 14 out, 14 wide and 8 out. So I'm asking for a variance of that 8 feet to build a 14 by 8.
In essence, you'd be 22 feet off of the set. You'd be 22 feet off the property line instead of 30 with his deck.
Yes.
If he built an 8-foot deck. I know your letter said you would accept a smaller one though.
Well, I was told that the minimum, I would have to build a 3 by 3, that it was required, I think. That a 3 by 3 was required, and so that wouldn't even fit within that, that space. But yes, if possible.
Did you have them set the trailer in there, or did you buy it, done set in there?
No, it's brand new. It's 2 months old, two and a half months old. It's a brand new home. They set it there.
For you though?
Sir?
For you?
Yes, yes. We sold our home in Maryville, bought this home, they set it up, they did all that work.
Is your deck gonna be covered?
No, sir.
Your thoughts, Jim?
These decks on these homes can't be attached to the home, so technically they're freestanding. And as he said, he does need at least a 3, or as wide as the door and 3 foot out deck. His measurements that he's shown us is to the overhang, so the home is in compliance to be clear. It's just gonna be whatever deck he needs to extend out. Not sure where the septic is on the property, and as you're aware of, you've got the railroad right of way right behind you on this track. It's a narrow track.
The septic is completely to the right of the home. Almost 100 feet to the property line is where the septic system is. So that it would have no problem being in that area at all.
What y'all think?
Well, I'm just having a hard time deciding what the hardship is.
You know, most cases we see these, and this is kind of our catch-22 on this. A lot of the mobile home distributors will come in, set the homes, and we've seen it over the property lines. No survey, no relation as far as looking into the setback. So we're usually always cleaning this up after the fact, after somebody's bought it, never done any research on it, and so here we are.
Survey was done, the corner post. Brian Watson, he was out there, says I need a streamline done, so I had to post everything. I paid for all that. I paid for the,
But y'all just didn't notice the setbacks.
I didn't know anything about setbacks. Like I
He
said,
has to have some kind of a deck out there, does he not?
He's gotta have at least a 3x3 landing out there, yes, sir. Just for egress of the home. And as I stated, they're not technically attached to the home, they are freestanding.
and may I state that from the end of Martell Road to where the Martell goes underneath the railroad track, about 2.5 miles, there are 38 homes. At least 11 of those homes are quite a bit closer to the road. I understand the phrase grandfathered in. There looks like 2 homes that are in the process of building some kind of porch that are closer to the street than mine. I'm not sure exactly where the property lines are on those. I assume they're the same. But there are at least 11 properties that are much closer to the street than mine.
I guess my thought is I can almost make a motion to grant the 3x3 and the 17-foot, 27-foot variance. I'm having a hard time with the big deck. Is there a reason you need a deck on the front and the back? I mean, normally you go out on the deck to put a grill out, the chairs, and you.
3x3 just looks really cheesy.
Well, you can build it longer than 3. You just take it out 3, and that way you'd still just be, I mean, you can make it 3 foot by 10 foot or whatever.
The purpose of that is to have an escape in case of fire or something.
Well, he needs a proper landing at each door. He doesn't have to have steps, but he still has to have the landing.
But he's got room in the back.
Yes.
They just didn't get the trailer back far.
They should have pushed the trailer back further when they said it.
And that's nothing on me.
Well, it is a little bit. If you paid them, put it in there, it's on you.
I lived in there for a month and a half before this ever even came to my knowledge.
What do y'all think?
I'll throw it out there to grant him this variance.
The full variant?
Yeah, table 14.
No roof.
No roof, no.
No roof. I'll second it with that.
Any more discussion?
I'll go vote against it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. You gonna vote, Leon?
I vote aye for, to approve.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, let's see. G, variance request for outside business sign, applicant Kevin Hudson, tax map 007, parcel 067.00, located 19668 US Highway 11, C2, General Commercial District, District 5. What you got?
Well, so I got a guy on a sign company down in Athens, and that guy come order signs, put my Corners Pizza in this strip, and there was in the tennis spot, there used to be a Subway, so he's pulling all the stuff out for Subway, I guess, putting all his stuff in, and I pulled a picture up online, like on Google Earth. I just got done redoing 13 Subways, so I actually had his sign. It wasn't his personal sign, but I had the same sign in my back lot. And I had another sign that I sold him. And this was in the county, and I forgive my ignorance of y'all's requirement permit in the county where I'm at. We don't have to have it. So anyway, I sold him the sign, and we was up there looking at some other stuff, and the guy that he had helping him were working, doing all the work. We was talking about it, and he'd asked me about it, the permit, and it was basically the ruling is, you can't have more than 1 square foot of building space per sign face. So if you got a 100-foot long building, you're gonna have 100-foot signage. And there's, in the tenant, I went and measured it, and, the tenant to the far, I don't have the paper, left, I believe, is like a storage unit, and that guy owns the whole building. All the way to the right, he has do you have that paperwork?
Not on me, she may have, whatever you submitted in.
Yeah, whatever I see. Let's see if you got that. Basically, the tenant to the far left owns the whole thing, and on the far right, he has his, so I guess this is his office, and down here is all his storage units. So, being in this business and industry, commonly, he wouldn't put a sign down here at all, because that's gonna pull people from the parking lot to go to here, and he wants them coming to his office. So, I went and measured everything. I think there was 106 square foot available. A second.
So I guess where you're leading us to is you're trying to show that he's only gonna be the one to have the signage. You're wanting to use the available square footage for your sign and not put signs on the other buildings.
Right, so my tenant spot that he's got is 21 feet, 21 and a half feet, so that gives me, 26 feet. So that's 260 square feet, or 26 square feet that I can have for a sign. The sign that he bought, that I sold him, was 45 square feet. And I went off that from the existing Subway sign that was there prior. So I got on Google Maps, I said, okay, he's got a sign that, the sign that they've got there is this size. I'm gonna sell you one the same size to go back on.
Where's this at? Where's it at?
Dixie Junction.
Right next to the Ace Hardware there, Elder's Hardware.
So that would, if granted, that would eliminate any signage for any other businesses that open there?
Well, it would only eliminate that end.
Which, as you could probably agree, people change their minds, so something else could go in there in the
Correct.
future.
But the reason that I'm asking for the variance is because going off of the sign that was there prior, which was relatively 46 and a half square feet, I sold him one that was a little smaller. I'm just going off of what with my ignorance of not knowing inside a permit, and me looking, okay, there's a sign there that's this size, I'm gonna sell you one that's relatively the same size, that way you can have if it was there before, I figured it'd be allowed again.
Was the Subway sign out of regulations? Did it meet the regulations?
It on this side?
They may not have had a permit, based on, the only way I told this gentleman how to size, to figure out size for a sign is lineal footage, border the road of your tenant space, use that for your sign sizes.
I mean, little strips
Well,
in there.
Polk's is there, so,
Yeah, that's the other side
okay.
of the house.
But based off what he's shown me here, yeah, the Subway would have been out of compliance also. He's actually putting in a smaller sign than what Subway had.
But like I said, of my ignorance, I had no common knowledge of that there was even a permit.
So how big is this sign legally allowed to be?
What'd you say, 26 feet?
Per that tenant spot, like if it was going off each tenant spot, it would be 26 square feet. But if you go over the whole building, then I've got room to put it on there and it still be legal.
I think the right way to look at it is per tenant spot, because each tenant could change in future years. And if you're granted the entire size, as looks like Subway was, because I remember multiple shops, I remember at one time, all those shops had its own individual client in it, so.
The guys done paid for the sign, and that's why I'm here, I don't wanna.
Would Subway have had to come in here to us and get a variance on this?
be honest with you, I don't know when that subway went in. Or what was even occurring then.
I think that went in
Just
the
be
early
upfront with
90s.
you, I couldn't even tell you whether they got a permit for the sign when they were required to have a permit for the sign. if you want me to.
It's been there a long time. What else is in there? You say his leasing office for his, for his.
Yeah, I think,
storage units is
it's
on
a
the left.
storage facility, leasing office on one side. right?
On the one that they have no sign there now, because they're trying to attract their attention, and it's the people that own the building. They're pulling attention to the opposite side of the building. And if they was to put a sign there, it would pull people to that side, which is, send them the wrong way. But I also understand that years down the road, that might change hands.
I think there's two ways to look at it. One is give up to what Subway was granted at the time, because it was grandfathered in, I guess supposedly, or look at it by each tenant and restrict it to the 25 or 24 feet.
I would appreciate obviously, I just didn't have anything. That's what I had to go off of. And like I said, being ignorant of there needs to be a permit.
Your thoughts, Jim?
To be honest with you, you had a Subway sign up there that was at large, probably been up there for years. This sign's a little bit smaller than what it is. Things have changed up in that area, that's a new access road to where it used to be Highway 11. Things have changed, so I don't know that there's many buildings up there that will be compliant with our current regulations, in all honesty.
I will make a motion to grant the variance.
I'll second that.
Got a motion second, anybody else got anything? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. You're good. You get your money. Anybody else got anything? You got anything, Jim?
Yes, sir. If I could just, real quick, there was a property owner called through the property assessor's office to ask a question. So there's about a little over an 8-acre tract down off Highway 70. It has 2 houses on it, has for years. And it may be that it was discussed of tearing one house down and replacing it. And so they had pulled the deeds for this property, and years ago, prior to zoning, they bought this property in, it's one deed with 3 tract descriptions, okay? And then since that period of time, they've actually had the deed reworked, obviously a boundary survey, but this new deed basically did a peripheral of those 3 tracts, so it shows it all as one. So the property technically changed it went from tracts into the combined property, but on the same token, the whole deeded property and ownership that was originally created didn't change. If this were to be considered a lot of record, then because it's greater than 2 acres, it's allowed to have the 2 dwellings. The property isn't large enough that in the future they could subdivide, and our regulations would allow that. So the real question is, would y'all, based off that information, consider that to remain under that lot of record exemption? Where they would be able to allow them to tear that structure down and replace it.
I think if we look at the one we just approved out here at New Providence, we kind of done the same thing for that mobile home. They're gonna tear it out, put it right back in for Schubert families. So my opinion would be, we've done it in the past, it'd be kind of hard to deny this one.
It doesn't change, same family, nothing changed?
I'm gonna be honest up front, I don't know if it's the same family, it's just unique when you buy a property, but you buy 3 tracts, it's a little.
But you said the original deed called for all the houses.
The original tract called for all 3, the original deed called out all 3 tracts. The dwellings, one was probably original and another one come at a later time, I'm sure. I don't know if I have that info written down. But I just wanna get back with the property assessor, told him I would discuss it, if y'all felt that's very similar to a lot of record, and then we'll proceed in that manner.
That would be my opinion.
I agree with that.
Now, if they busted it up, started selling separate parcels, you'd have to look at each parcel individually.
Right.
But I think if it's all one tract, it's already in the original deeds, I think it mirrors the same thing we just done out here last month.
Yeah, and from the time they bought it, they didn't sell off a portion and gain any access. They just merely fixed the meets and bounds to include all three tracks.
And I think if I remember right, you'd probably have to educate us, but I think out here at the church, they actually give the church some. And we still approved. to put the
Yeah,
house
we
back.
did. That's what knocked them out of being a lot of record is the property that was intersected by the
transferred.
road, they transferred, yes. Good deal. That's all I need from you.
You happy now?
I'm thankful the night's over.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion
Second.
second? Where's my secretary?
I had set of gloves, my glove department, rubber gloves. It was so hot, I got that. Feel my conscience if you don't.
I will get it.
Cool, thank you.
What is today, night?
Yeah. It's just like in the corner.
It is.
Got the last one,